You've spotted a leak underneath the car. Is it something we should worry about? Does it really matter? Well, this video, we're just going to discuss the common areas that cause a leak to come from your car. Some leaks are actually completely innocuous and perfectly normal, and they can be safely ignored. But other leaks, if ignored, can escalate and become much bigger, much more expensive problems to fix at a later stage. Tracking down the leak on the car is a challenge on modern cars because most modern cars have an under tray fitted. So if something leaks off the engine, it generally runs along the under tray and then underneath the car. In the good old days where you didn't have an under tray, if the leak was at the bottom left of the car engine at the front, you knew pretty much that it was something immediately above that that was causing the leak. So leaks generally form around seals, gaskets and clips. Occasionally the hose or the pipe starts to split and that can cause the leak, but generally that's not usually the case where you have a leak from your engine. If you open up the engine bay, you might notice the smell of fuel, and that can indicate a leak. You shouldn't really be smelling fuel in the engine bay area. Some diesels are more prone to this than others, but in the main, if you notice a strong smell of diesel fuel, you've probably got a leak somewhere in the fuel system, and they're generally quite easy to spot. You'll notice a wetter part on one of the pipes, one of the feed lines, or even on the fuel rail itself. And in some instances, it can actually be ancillaries bolted onto the engine, like an external water pump housing or the oil pump housing, if that's on the outside of the engine. Perhaps the seal inside that has leaked and that's starting to allow escape to the outside of the engine. You might have to dry off the engine and clean the engine and have a thorough look. Maybe in the morning do a thorough inspection with a flashlight and just see where the new areas of damp are or wetness is forming, and that'll help you to track down the leak. It's also good to try and spot the type of leak you've got. If you can work out by looking at what's on the floor, whether it is oil or it's sweet smelling, that is probably coolant, or if it is just water. Now, the common thing that causes a leak under the car is the air conditioner. The water that condenses out of the air in the car is vented out of the engine, and that will be quite normal to see water coming from the air conditioning condenser unit underneath the car, and that's something that we shouldn't worry about at all. Make a point of just checking underneath the car to see if there's any fresh leaks forming. So you may notice coolant, it may be oil, it may be brake fluid or some other substance, but if stuff is coming out of the engine, that is not a good situation to be in. Once these levels of these fluids start to drop, you start to have other problems forming. So a drop of oil will obviously affect the lubrication of the engine. A drop of coolant can affect the cooling of the engine, leading to serious overheating problems. A lot of brake fluid can actually make braking rather challenging because it kind of needs the brake fluid in order to translate your pedal pressure into pressure at the pads. So thanks for watching. Please boot the like button. That really does help us to get out there. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because we'd love you to stay tuned, and I've lined these videos up for you that you should find really interesting. Thanks for watching. See you in these next videos.